to the Capital Discussions OptionVue Education. I'm Tom Nunemaker with Jame Hogan. Before we get started, a quick disclaimer that Capital Discussions is not a broker-dealer or an investment advisor. This presentation is for educational purposes only. We don't know your situation and have no way of knowing what level of risk is appropriate for you. We're not making any specific trade recommendations. The risk of loss in trading options can be substantial, so please be aware of all of your risks prior to placing any trades. Hypothetical or simulated trades are believed to be accurately represented. However, actual profit or loss may vary due to market factors such as liquidity, slippage, and commissions. So with that out of the way, this is for educational purposes only. I'll switch the presenter mode over to you, James, and welcome back while we're doing that. It's nice to have you back here and
Thank
presenting.
you. Absolutely. So I need to go somewhere to share my desktop.
Yeah, if you're in Windows, you can normally go Control-Alt-D, like desktop or Delta. Or on that quick start, there's a big button to share your screen.
Oh, there I see. Share my screen. There we go. Okay. That's a little slide I threw up here. Just, you can reach me at james@optionvue.com, or you can call us at the number there. I'm going to go ahead and drag over my OptionVue now. And this is the starting screen of OptionVue. This is called the quotes display. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see an NV number. That is a good sign when you see that. That means you're connected to our servers. You can totally customize this quotes display. If you sign up for a trial, it'll have some symbols and groups here preloaded in here, but you can delete them and create your own. This is called indexes. This is one of my groups here. And to assign a group, you would just put a pound sign or a number sign right in front of the title that you want to have for this group. Okay. In order to delete symbols or add symbols, you can always use this edit button up here and go to insert row or delete row. Okay. Or the insert button on your keyboard does the same thing. And the delete key on your keyboard will get rid of the row as well. Okay. A lot of times I get questions for people that are first starting out, how come these S's and O's are here? These are all, O's mean that you have an account open in OptionVue with a option position in it. Okay. S means you have you're long the underlying. Okay, if you were trading futures with OptionVue, for instance, if you had a gold contract, there would be an F there for a futures contract. So it's kind of a nice thing to see where you have open positions, and you can see as I'm highlighting over here that it's telling me what account they're in. So I could quickly jump to that account if I wanted to. Okay, these are in my Options House account. This Monsanto is over here in a test account that I created. Okay. You can also customize these rows. Okay. You can also, like I demonstrated before, up under Edit, you can insert columns and delete columns as well. You can also use the Insert button again. And then you could right-click on the blank field there, and it shows you the available column headings that we have. One of the important ones that's not automatically preloaded that I like to make sure I have, especially for trading equities, is you have the Urn Date Column, which tells you quickly when the next earnings announcement is, before the market opens or after the market closes. And then over here, this is a news site. You can actually customize what website opens up when you click on the news. I think it's defaulted to Yahoo right now. I have mine set up for Benzinga. And those are kind of some of the preferences you could set up under File. Okay, under File up here on the left is where you're going to find a lot of different things you can do to customize OptionVue. Okay, one of the biggest ones I find that I'm directing people towards a lot is this graphic analysis. So when you're looking at a risk profile on a trade, you can display dates. It defaults to display today plus a number of days in the future. I prefer dates. But the biggest thing is that your graphic analysis highlights T+0 to start. That means whenever you analyze a trade, you're looking at right now. It defaults to expiration. I don't like that because generally most people aren't trade holding things to expiration, and it looks kind of, if you open up a risk graph right away, all your Greeks, everything's zero at the bottom because it's looking at expiration. So I recommend changing it to start on T+0. Okay. Another thing, you can actually customize the whole color scheme of OptionVue also under the Colors tab here. Fonts, I'm using Crispy right here. That's Len, our CEO's word for this style of font. If you go to Original, you'll see it's going to be a lot bolder. And then this 8-point font really refers to a couple things in the quotes display when you're looking at break-even points. So I recommend, going to the 8-point font there. Okay. Another big thing, and a lot of people get OptionVue because of its modeling of volatility, but also our volatility charts are very popular. And I know it's been talked a lot on Tasty Trades. I heard a lot about it. There was a buzz for a while about looking at percentiles. What the IV percentile is, and this defaults it so that when you're looking or doing scans for IV percentiles, finding things in certain ranges, I like to look back at a 2-year period. Okay, so you could change that there. The thing is, when you're looking at a volatility chart, which is up here, and I'm looking at Herbalife right now, you can see up here these are percentiles. Okay, and because I have mine set on 2 years, it's looking at the percentile just in this area here. Okay, if you don't have that set up, it's going to look at the life of the chart. And I like this better because I think it's a more relevant time frame to be looking at. Some people like to do a year, but that is where you can set that up if you want. Okay. So what other thing I wanted to talk about were in the quotes. So besides the you customize the columns and the symbols and the groups we have here, you can also set up tabs down here, and you could right click on it and say Insert Tab, and now I have a whole new blank quotes display. So as you can see down at the bottom, and I'm going to get rid of this because I don't need it. But I have a futures tab, as you can see here. Another important thing is these, you'll notice, are yellow. Okay, if you ever see those being yellow, that means you have that group turned off. So no quotes are coming in right now. I do this just to keep my symbol count lower. When you keep symbol count lower, I mean the amount of data coming into OptionVue. For things that I'm not looking at, I'll have those turned off. It's very easy. You just click on the yellow square there, and you'll see that it went live now. And also over here, I have a time column. Very important for I think people to glance over there once in a while. Make sure your quotes are updating. Make sure that your data feed is good. So right away you can see that I was able to get the real-time quotes to come in, and I'm going to turn those off. So as you can see, I've got a live one. This is what I'm looking at all day long. If someone's asking me about futures or I want to look at futures, I've got that. I've got a little ETF sectors set up here. And then you'll also notice this little A. This will alphabetize everything in the group. Okay, so if I hit that A right now, Apple would be on top and so forth. It'd be alphabetized that way. Okay. So that's the quotes display and the starting page of OptionVue. The next thing you would want to do is whenever you get OptionVue, there's always going to be, I might say, account 1 or sample account at the top here. It's just a default account to start you off with. You can really have an unlimited number of accounts in OptionVue, and under the info button is where you would set up a new account. Okay. You would also close accounts if you wanted to, but immediately people want to get OptionVue and they want to start modeling some existing positions on or do some back testing to test out a strategy they're considering. What you would do is you create a new account. Okay, you can title it whatever you want, and you would not check off track data account. That needs to be taken out. They're no longer around. A super account is pretty cool. What a super account does is it allows you to group a number of accounts together. So, for instance, if you had, a couple IRAs and a couple, regular cash accounts at different brokerages, and you wanted to look at a big picture all together, you would make that a super account, and you would include those accounts under that super account. So this isn't something you're going to be starting with. And then Tradier is someone that you can send trades to directly through OptionVue. They have super low commissions, which is pretty cool. I don't have an account over there yet, but I do plan on doing it. But Tradier.com, that's something you can check out if you're ever interested in that. So I'm not going to check any of those off. I hit OK, and it says, when do you want this account to start? If you're back testing, go ahead and put the date you want to start your back test at, and then, put in your starting capital. Not a hugely important thing because you can manipulate these things after it's set up. Okay, so now I'm in my new account. Okay, and so for open positions, you could say if you want to have slippage or commission included in the valuation of your open positions. This is a big one. This is why OptionVue is pretty popular for a lot of thinkorswim users because your gain and loss is included in your campaign style trading. If you're doing broken wing butterflies, for instance, and you're continually rolling them, you want to see how the overall big picture is and how you're doing throughout your campaign there. Okay, this is kind of something that I wanted to bring to your attention. It's a newer feature. Okay, now we have the ability to send trades directly to thinkorswim. Okay. We used to have Options Express, but Schwab bought them and took that ability away. Track data is no longer around. So Tradier or thinkorswim are the only two options right now. Thinkorswim is what you would do is you would just click on that. Okay. And that is all you would need to do. So if you had your thinkorswim platform open and you were getting data into OptionVue and you went into an options chain, and we'll go ahead and go into Herbalife for a moment here, and you would then analyze your trade or put your trade in here, okay? And then this is the trade button. You would hit the trade, and this was actually going to send. It actually copies the trade to a clipboard, and then once you're in thinkorswim, you would paste it in your trade entry section of thinkorswim. So. I don't have a thinkorswim account set up, so I can't totally demonstrate that, but it's fairly easy. And if you need any help with it, just let me know, or let anybody here know at OptionVue.
Okay. Hey James, do you know if there are any plans to add IB as one of the brokers that you can send trades to?
I have not heard anything about that yet, but I will. I'll find out. But no, I haven't heard anything about that.
Andrew also asked, can you import IB trades from Trader Workstation that day or only next day from the statement?
I do have instructions on how to import trades from Interactive Brokers. I've never done it myself. I just kind of have an email that Ken and tech support here put together with instructions for that. So if you want to just email me at james@optionvue.com, I'll shoot those over to you.
Actually, I've got those instructions on a knowledge base article. Yeah.
Awesome.
But I think it's only from the statement viewer at Interactive Brokers.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, I'll ask Len and see if he's got anything slated to get some more updated things going on with IB. For some reason, I want to feel like it was difficult to get things developed over there for some reason.
Yeah, I think they change the API quite often. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've seen that, and they're not very helpful for people wanting to tie in or work with their platform. From what I've heard, from what I gathered from Jim and Len. So, but I'll find out about that, and I'll put something up on Capital Discussions to let you know what Len's working on.
Great.
Mm-hmm. So what we did here is we went into a matrix and just clicking on the symbol here or clicking on the matrix button will take you into the options chain. When you first get OptionVue, you're not going to see these colors, and that is the S button that pulls in the standard deviations. As you can see, they get bigger as you give more time to the option. If you do have a position and you don't see it immediately in the matrix here, you'll often see these little arrows, which will take you right up to where you have a trade on. Okay, so it looks like I was looking at doing something in Herbalife a while back. So you can always just delete that and clear it out if you put something in the trade column by highlighting it, deleting it. Or you can come up to this little pencil eraser up here and you can say clear trades. Okay, so you got the calls on the top here. This dark shaded area right here with the 61.5 and the little arrow there showing you where the at the money is right now. Here is the underlying, and this legend here is showing you what these fields represent. So you've got the last, the high, the change, the low of the day. If you wanted to go long the underlying, I get this question a lot, is you would just come up here, and it's just like I was typing in the trade column for the options, you would type in the trade field or how many shares you wanted to do. Okay. To format these column headings here, you would really want to, you could customize each individual matrix and options chain yourself by going to define here. And this format button as well allows you to change the format. But if you want to do it universally for everything that you open up, you would come up to here under View, and these are the big default settings that you want to take a look at here. Default auto strike. Okay. If you want to look at, I believe it defaults to natural intervals. This is another thing that Len that thinks is important. So what happens is you may be looking at something, Apple for instance may have weeklies going pretty far out. But what happens is further out you go, the strikes, the options aren't traded that much. So there's going to be some strikes that aren't trading. As you get closer to expiration, you'll notice that those strikes start trading, and more strikes are available to you as it gets closer to expiration. So what Lund has done with this natural intervals is it tries to compact the options chain, and it eliminates some strikes that may be trading that you won't see because of that feature. So I recommend display all strikes. This way you're going to see everything that's out there and available. Even if there are some gaps, it's still not going to eliminate some other things that might be trading. Over here is where you're going to include weeklies if available. So if you open up an options chain when you first get OptionVue, you're not going to see the weeklies coming in unless you come in here and say you want them defined. Okay. Also, I don't do a lot of in-the-money option trading, so that's why I have this in-the-money range set to call. So whenever you open up OptionVue and then you open up a matrix, it looks at where the at-the-money is and then creates a range around that for the calls and the puts. And I have large for out of the money on both sides. Okay. Some people that are trading SPX or Russell or something, this is usually on the indexes, they'll come in here. You wouldn't do this here because maybe you want to look at Apple and you want to display all strikes. But if you were doing something on the Russell and you just wanted to look at 5-point strikes, if you just want to look at 10-point strikes, you could come in here and go to define. And you can see I've already done this myself. I'm already looking at just 5-point strikes. Okay, if I just want to do 10s, I could hit OK there, and you'll see it just changes to the 10-point strikes. So by doing this, I'm overriding the default settings that I have set up under View, and I'm customizing the Russell just for the way I'm going to want to look at it or trade it. Okay. Also under View at the top left here, we can go to default matrix format. Okay. This is where you saw in the matrix that I have my cell size 1x5, and this is the settings that I like to have. Okay. I'll usually always change this in the matrix. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. But once you've had a good setting here, you always want to have a trade in an existing position, because once you have a trade that you're analyzing and you want to put it on, or you actually have it on, you would hit the convert trade button, and then it moves over to the existing position. So that's why you want to have these two fields in OptionVue. And then once you found your preferred setup here, you would hit set default 1, and you can have up to 3 of them. Okay, let's go ahead and go back into Russell here. And so you can see that I have, there's a delta here, okay? I can right-click on that and go to volume. I can right-click on it, and these are all the parameters that we offer that you can choose between. And this is the theoretical price. I like that feature because it really demonstrates whether, based on OptionVue's modeling, whether an option is currently undervalued or overvalued, the market price compared to the theoretical price. Okay. Open interest is another big one. So those, the last default setting that I wanted to show you is the default models. This is pretty big, and a lot of times it's one of the early questions I get on when someone starts a trial is saying, no, my positions aren't looking right. Well, if you, the default, I believe, in the OptionVue when you first get the trial is slippage is set to small, possibly even moderate. You can see the drop down here. Okay, I have mine set to none. That means whenever you're analyzing a position, it's using the market price. Okay, and this is how the market price is calculated in OptionVue by default. Okay, it might be slightly different with some of the brokers, some of the other brokers. They're probably using a more simplified bid plus ask plus last divided by 3, or bid plus ask divided by 2. But OptionVue uses a smoothed average. And that's what this is. So with slippage on, this is what you're looking at when you model position. With slippage on, it's saying that if you're buying, you're not getting a market price. You're getting a little bit closer to the ask. Okay? And vice versa if you're selling. Okay? So I recommend slippage set to none. A lot of times people's positions when they come over, they'll be way, way off. And that's because it hit bid ask. That's just the worst possible fills you could get. Okay. Once you have your account set up, we're in this test account right now, you can then go ahead and start doing some back testing if you wanted to. Okay, what you would do to back test is you can go to NetView and go to BackTrader, and then this window comes up. Okay, and you can go back to any half an hour on a trading day going back to January of 2001. Okay, so you would just select your date, hit start, and then you would be in BackTrader mode. Okay, and as you're back testing, you're going to leave this window open. This button moves you by half an hour in either direction, this S, and the D moves you by day in either direction. Okay, so once you had your proposed trade on that you wanted to do, and you said, okay, I'm going to analyze this now. I like the way that it looks. I'm going to now convert the trade. And when you convert the trade, you can see it moves to the existing position field now. And when I click on this T log, which is your transaction log, you can see that there's the trade. If you remember, this is the date and deposit I made when I started this account. But these things you can change. Okay, the only thing we really recommend you don't mess around with is the symbols. Okay, if you wanted to put how much commission you paid for this trade, just typed in 7 there, so I paid $7 for this. I really, when I did put this on at my broker, I really got this for $425. This one for $365. So you can change these things in here so that you have a correct cost basis to track your trades going forward. Okay. I've also done it before where I've converted a trade in OptionVue. I really didn't do 5 shares. I did 10 shares or 10 contracts. Okay, you can see that it changes here for you. If you ever make a mistake and you converted a trade on accident, you could just come in here, delete the date, and it's like that trade never happened. Okay. So that's the T-log, and that's the info button is where you set up the accounts. We recommend you don't password your account. Only you are opening an OptionVue. The only reason we say don't password is because we can't ever recover that password for you. That's all on your end. But I mean, if you wanted to, you could. But like I said, if you get locked out of your own account, we can't reset it for you or anything like that. So these buttons here all have to do with accounting and record keeping. Status will list out all of your positions here. Okay, and then reports is really nice for back testing. Okay, if you wanted to, it's going to take a look at your realized, unrealized, and combined positions from any date and time in the past to whatever date and time you want to current. Okay, and it's going to show you all your trades, gain, losses, and it really does some nice. It'll have a nice performance graph for you. It'll have a nice analysis, and then it'll show your max, your biggest drawdown, the average length of time you're in a trade. Really nice information it puts together for you during a back test, and then you can compare strategies against one another using those reports. Okay, let's do a little analysis really quick. So let's just say I put a trade on here, and I'm going to want to analyze it. Okay, so as you can see, I'm starting on the T+0 line. So this is the way I have my default. I mentioned that before. Before, if you first get OptionVue, it's defaulted to look at the expiration. Okay, and as you can see, at the expiration, not likely to hold this trade until that point in time. You would probably be getting out sooner and taking profit and moving on. Okay. This is the font I told you that is a little bit bigger when you change it under preferences, these break evens. Okay. You'll see on the vertical axis here, this is showing you the dollar return for this trade. This is showing you the percent return. Okay, if you're ever curious about where a line is getting its figures from, I'm just clicking on this line right here, and you can see it's taking me to the May 19th projection date. And I click on this D button down here. Okay, it's showing you May 19th. The underlying price is 118. Volatility change is staying where it's at. And you can see this is the position that I just put on. And if I was to close it on the 19th and everything else were to stay constant, this is where my profit and loss would be. And this is giving us the theoretical prices. Okay, so this is what it's using. It's using OptionVue's modeling to create these theoretical prices. And now you can change these features here. So let's say what I wanted to look at, what about if it was the 21st? Okay, that's where I would be. What if the underlying price did move up for me to 130 or 1130? Okay. OptionVue is using some pretty sophisticated modeling, so you really don't have to change the volatility. OptionVue is looking at volatility on sort of a curve, so that if the price were to go down, it's already anticipating that volatility is going to increase. Okay, so this is something you really don't have to change very often. Okay. Down here you have all your Greeks. These are showing you the standard deviations in either direction. Okay. These buttons allow you to move to the left or right, or to zoom in or zoom out. If you ever want to change the interval here, you can right-click anywhere in this blank area of the risk graph, and you can say, I want the center price to be this, and I want the intervals to be 5 instead of 4. Okay. One thing I like about OptionVue, when you have a trade like this on and you like it, you can then click on the price chart, which will bring you to the Russell price chart, and then you can go ahead and this little button here will show you where your profit zone will be for this trade. This is a newer feature as well, and you can see the position right here. This button's new in OptionVue. What it does is if you had a transaction log full of trades in the Russell, this button's going to show you, and you can see the little trade's going to, it won't come up yet because it's today, but this shows you where you bought or sold different things. So you sold it here or you bought it here. This is a brand new button here. Okay, this one shows you where earnings dates were, if there were any earnings dates, but we're not looking at an equity right now. We're looking at the index here, so I don't see anything there. And then these other buttons you can explore. This is just where you would go to set up what kind of indicators and overlays you'd like to have. Okay. So let's go ahead, and I don't want to have this trade on. It never converted the trade. Let's say I don't want to have this trade on anymore, and I want to get rid of this account that I just started. So I can just say this account is closed, delete the account, and I say yes. Now it's gone. Okay, and as you can see, I've got dozens of accounts in here, just from different things I've tested, back tests, demoing, opening an account. If I have accounts with the different brokerages that I've had or have accounts with currently. Wanted me to touch on OpScan, which I will do briefly, and then we'll probably wrap it up with that if there's not any questions. I'm not following the chat, so not seeing if anything's coming through. Let me look at it real quick. Okay.
Yeah, no new questions.
Okay. So OpScan, I was talking to Tom at the beginning of this kind of walkthrough demo, and she's saying that we wanted to look at some OpScan, and that there's a forum on Capital Discussions where if I'll check it out, but I thought it would be a good place for people to share some OpScan formulas that either they've created or just a place to share ideas and even develop new formulas or work on existing ones. Real easy to share OpScan folders, OpScan formulas here. Basically, what you would do is you would go to your C drive, looking for your OpView 7, and there's my OpScan, okay? And then you would find these are all formulas, these are reports from scans that you ran. But what you would do is you could, highlight a couple different formulas. I'm just holding down the control button to select a couple formulas. And then those are the formulas you would either email or post, and then you'd never open them. You're just going to download them and drop them in your OpScan folder. And then when you open up OpScan in OptionVue, those formulas will be waiting for you there. Okay. So I'll go ahead and first of all, I will deselect all. And these, like I said, I've helped create a bunch of formulas. Steve Lentz is huge in OpScan and developing formulas. Others I've gotten from customers that have some nice scans that they do. You can see some people's names are on some of these. Steve has non-directional candidates. These are that's something Steve put together there. Let me see which one I want to run for you guys. Tightest markets. This is a good one. This shows you options that have the lowest bid-ask spreads. Apple always pops up on this one. So if you're looking for something that's basically pretty liquid and has really nice bid-ask spreads, which means you're going to get really close to a market price. And you can see here come the formulas, and they're labeled by date here. You can see when they did. Yep, there's Apple. You can see the bid-asks on some of these options here. So it's basically a penny or 2 cents. Penny. Okay. Let's take a look at some other ones. Deselect that one. And I love doing calendars. I do calendars all the time, horizontal spreads. And these are good ones for that. It's going to probably pull up. This means the skew is going to be backwards. This means that the front contract is going to have more premium in it or more volatility in it than the second one out. I'll go ahead and hit go on this. A lot of times what you're going to find, though, is you're going to find a lot of them are just because there's some event coming up, like earnings or an announcement or something like that. Okay. So you can see, so what it's looking at is the IV of the front month, clearly an earnings announcement. And then here's the IB of the second month and the IB of the third month. Okay. So outside of earnings announcements, sometimes you'll find some good opportunities in these. But I'll go ahead and once you find one that you like, you can highlight it and then you can insert it. Okay. So now if I close this, you'll see that wherever I'm highlighted on the quotes display, and you saw that I just left-clicked and dragged this symbol down here. You can do that. It pulls that symbol in here for you. Wow, look at that. That one really took off today, huh? Up 56%. So that's definitely, and then I can see right away that, and it's not an earnings announcement, so they must have released some kind of news or something came out on it. That's the way of the pharmaceuticals, anyways. So let's go back to OpScan again. So this is the one I like to run. Other people are using OpScan to find some very unusual activity in terms of open interest and in terms of volume. These guys out there running scans all day long looking for spikes, because you can have this set up to run on a regular basis in the background here, generating reports for you. So some people will be running it to find, oh, there was a huge volume spike in, in a kind of an obscure stock or something like that that's not traded heavily. Well, it draws your attention to it. Maybe somebody knows something. So there's people trying to find, edges like that with OpScan. Okay. You can see these are some of the preloaded formulas. Here's back call premiums on quiet stocks. That means you're going to have low SV, low historical. We call it an OptionVue statistical volatility. And you're going to have high implied volatility. So that's what this scan is going to look for. And I'll go ahead and highlight it, and we can view it. So if you ever have OpScan, you definitely need the parameter guide that goes with it, because you can write your own formulas with this. Let's click on this modified so we can see it. So you can see right here, it's looking for SV. And I'm not an expert on OpScan, but it's sorting by IV minus SV. So statistical volatility is less than or equal to 30. Okay. And the call IV is greater than the SV plus 10. So with some practice using OpScan and looking at some of the parameter guides and using some of these preloaded formulas as kind of a base to get some ideas from, you can really have fun with it. And then whenever you write a formula, you'd always hit this test button. And if something's wrong, it'll pop the cursor right here and say, oh, there's a problem right here. Okay, so you know that you have an extra space or numbers in the wrong place or something like that, or a parentheses off, something like that.
Hey, James, is that data that you're running against, is that live or delayed data? Do you know?
Yeah, I think it is. It depends on how complicated the formula is. It really is, because sometimes it'll take a while for it to run through all the options. I mean, it's crazy, the world of options, how much data it's got to go through. But I have heard 10 minutes. I've heard faster. So at worst, I believe it's 10 minutes.
Okay. So near real time.
Very near real time, right. Exactly.
Jerry had a question too. He said on the Trade Finder, is there a way to sharpen the estimated cost of the spread, especially when some suggested legs have wide spreads, sometimes with no bids?
There's a couple ways you can weed out some of. Let's go to Trade Finder. Good question. Okay, so we were looking at some. So the filters is where you can go to try to do this. If you have an ask and a bid is less than, so ask divided by bid is less than, this will weed out stuff that doesn't have a bid or anything like that. Is that kind of what you were going for, Jerry? You wanted to get rid of the ones that have no?
Yeah, it sounds like he wants to get rid of ones that have wide spreads, so sometimes no bids.
Yeah, this is the key right here. Absolutely. Okay, so you would say put something in there. And then the other thing you can do as well is you can even go out, and here's another one, bid-ask gap is less than or equal to. So that's another filter too. Okay, you can make sure there's some volume going on or open interest. So yeah, these filters here, and definitely this one here is gonna take care of that for you. And then you can experiment it with it too. Trying to get a better estimated cost of the trade. Oh, I see. Okay, sometimes. Okay, slippage is going to be the key for you here. So, and it's funny, I don't run. We talked about slippage before, and it's something you can turn on and off for different underlines. So, Len in the Len here, we run trade finders all the time and share results with each other, but he runs trade finder with moderate slippage. Okay, this is going to do it for you, Jerry. With having slippage on, so if I went into Apple, for instance, and I would do this on a per underline basis. Okay, so what you would do is you would come into model and you would change slippage to small. Like I said, Len runs it on moderate. Okay, so that's going to anticipate that you're not going to get the best price. You're going to get some slippage. He only runs Trade Finder with moderate. I only run Trade Finder with none because I go and fight for my, I'm going to go fight for my my order. But realistically, of course, I'm always giving up something to get in if there is a wide bid ask. But slippage will do that for you. And you'll get entirely different Trade Finder results with slippage turned on. And I like it turned off because I get a lot more with no slippage on, of course. So there's a lot more opportunities that I'm finding. You're welcome, Jerry.
I did have a question. I know I've got an OpScan parameter guide that's, I don't know how many years old. Has that then been updated at all in the last few years, or is it still the old one?
The user guide?
The OpScan parameter guide.
Oh, no, it's the original one. There hasn't really been anything else. There's no new parameters in there. So it's the same original one. I know one of the biggest things that came out was that weeklies was a big thing. That came out a while ago, but weeklies is a nice addition in there. But the thing that I wish Len would do is I wish he would create weekly. Like that was like you could select weeklies. I only want to look at weeklies. Now you have to really, the only way to get there, you just, days to expiration is how you would find those.
So, like, for instance, SPX has weeklies that go out, 70 days. Would you just use the date to expiration filter?
Yeah, exactly. That's what you would do, yep. Like I said, I wanted to, I hope that there's, in an addition, when he starts to spend some more time with OpScan, that he does say if you only want to look at weeklies or if you want to not look at weeklies, you know what I mean? So now it just weeds by expiration. It doesn't know the difference between a monthly, a quarterly, a weekly.
Very good.
Yeah. What do you think? Anything else you want me to touch on? Any other questions?
No more questions that I see. And do you know anything in the queue for development that might be coming up, features you're working on that might be a little teaser?
Yeah, the latest thing Len did, he updated the VXX trading system. That was one of the latest things. Let me touch on that real quick. So let's go ahead and look at. So I have a little tab here for the VXX system. He actually revamped the system and he's tweaked it a little bit, and it really looks fantastic. But these are all, you see this VXX DRE. This is DRE stands for Daily Roll Effect. So if you want to learn anything about this more in depth, you could go to OptionVue.com and then click on Trading, and you'll see VXX Trading Tools or Trading System there, and nice videos and demonstrations. But it's done really well. But the newest thing is he came up with a new indicator that he titled, here it is, the YVI, the Jens Volatility Indicator. Okay, and this is it. This is the whole trading system, and it's telling you when to get in, when to get out, when to be in cash, and it's purely a volatility play. It's pretty cool. So, but this is, like I said, this is new. The other thing, as far as development, I was so excited about sending trades to toss. That's huge for a lot of people. As far as anything else he's working on right now, I am not entirely sure. I have not heard of anything super recently. Oh, I know he was going to be working on. You'll see these E primes, E overs down here. This is part of our earnings module. I think he was going to be tweaking some of the settings. If I go to View and I go to Weekly Earnings Planner, not the planner. I'm sorry. The import earnings plays. Okay, he was going to fine tune and add some more things into this section. I know he was going to work on that, but Other than that, I haven't heard anything in development. I will, like I said, I'll spend some more time on cap discussions, Tom, and keep you guys posted.
Okay, and if people have bug reports or questions or suggestions, feedback, is there a good way to get that to you guys?
Yeah, there is, and I recommend this more than anything, really. When you go to OptionVue, let me just go to OptionVueSupport.com. Okay, you can sending an email to support is I want to say the best way. It's support@OptionVue.com. You can do that, or you can submit a ticket if you are having a problem. But also you can submit a ticket with a suggestion as well. And I like that better because, I mean, these guys are getting the paper trail going, so to speak, into their log and everything and seeing it come up. And I try to tell people this all the time that, squeaky wheel gets the grease, and the more we get of something that's happening or a feature that somebody wants, the more suggestions for it, the more higher up it moves up on Len's list to get done.
Right. And I guess before we go, Jerry had another question. He said on the Trade Finder, what do you set your vol model to?
Okay, let me go back over there. Trade Finder, and okay, so I really don't recommend using that. And again, it's kind of like we were talking about before. OptionVue is already doing the modeling for you. I always have mine set to 0. Now, if you're doing an earnings play or earnings, it's around earnings time. Let's go back here and I'll do a demonstration of this. OptionVue knows that an earnings date is coming, and it'll do the modeling for you. And let me demonstrate that. Let's go to live here and let's see what's coming out. It just kind of shows you a neat feature here. You can see, try AAP, okay. Okay, advanced auto parts 5/19 before the market opens. That means our event date is actually the 19th. I'm going to go ahead and open up an matrix for this one. Okay, also going to open up a price chart. I don't need the lower chart anymore. There we go. Okay, and then you can see here, this is the buttons that shows where earnings are that have happened. Okay. So now, and this is always I always check this also before I start doing any Trade Finder. I'll go into Model. Okay, and I'll click on Volatility, and I can see there's the event date. It knows it. It knows that it's happening in the May contract, and it's already anticipating the vol drop in this contract on the 19th. And the going out further in time is going to drop as well. Okay, so then with that open and that checking out, I'll go to Trade Finder, and I do this all day long, finding these horizontal debit spreads. I would click on bell curve. I would click on just where it's at right now. That's why I'm on CMI. I'm like, what's happening? You got to come to Asset tab first, of course, to get the symbol you want to look at in there. Okay, and then you can come in and hit these things here. I like to look for things the day before because I like to try to find some opportunities. And I would hit go. I'm showing you my secrets here.
I won't tell.
Look at that expected return on this. So now this is the thing. So Jerry, you're going to see this, but again, the whole slippage thing comes into play. Okay, are you really going to be able to get this for 15 cents? If you could, that'd be fantastic because it looks like you're going to be. I just sent it to the matrix right away. Not that I'm going to do 191 shares, but you can see you're clearly not going to get 25 cents for this. But if you analyze it, it's going to look like a miracle. But this is where the slippage thing would come into play. So, but I would, I'll try to find things like this all the time, and you can see over here the implied volatility change. OptionVue is doing that for you. It's grabbing this from that model because of the earnings play. Other than that, I really don't think you have to use it. If you're looking for any type of index trades or anything like that, OptionVue knows that volatility decreases when price goes up and the opposite when it goes down. So it's taking that into account. So you really don't have to to do anything with the implied volatility change. The only time you might do it is if you're doing, if you think that OptionVue is wrong and you think that maybe volatility is going to drop 30 and not 45, or it's going to drop 60. But OptionVue is using past information and volatility trends around earnings to come up with these numbers. So that's why I would not recommend really changing it. I never do. That answer your question, Jerry?
I think it did. There's nothing else coming in. Okay, thanks again from Jerry.
Sure, awesome.
And ditto for that. Really appreciate it, James. I think we're getting close to an hour anyway, so this is probably a good time to wrap it up.
That sounds good.
Appreciate you coming on. I'm sure we'll have you back in 5 or 6 months, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that sounds good. I think Jeff might be up next. I'm not sure. And anybody ever have any questions, just give us a call here.
Great. Well, really appreciate it again. Thanks to everybody for staying with us till the end, and good trading for the week, and we will see you next time.
Okay,
Thanks
bye
again,
everyone.
James.
Thank you, Tom. Bye.
Bye.